Do you want me to
Although
jump
it's
the gun?
funnier that way.
It would be. I'm Jake Schriner.
I'm Bob Nelson.
I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Conversation Podcast. Welcome back. Again, I say, clinkety clink, all for one, one for one.
Doing this?
Yeah, let's just do it. There it is.
We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
More slosh.
Got a half-hearted, all for one, sort of for, I don't know. Whatever. Well, hey, welcome back. Glad that you are joining us on the podcast tonight. You know, I had an idea. I'm gonna tell you my idea right off the bat. Is that let's toss around the idea of streaming this. Doing it live. Then still editing.
That's not a bad idea.
You know what I mean? And then you see the live version.
Right.
Then I'll edit it, and then I'll upload to YouTube, the one that we usually do. But have some people just interact with us online live.
We
That
would need to
be
be able
fun.
to see like the comments as they're coming in.
Yeah,
So we'd
yeah,
have to,
exactly.
Like, have one of us would be on our phone or something.
Yeah,
You know?
just I mean, we
That would
only
be
need
fine.
a longer cable to get us over. But yeah, it'd be pretty easy. So
I think
Cool.
that isn't easily. I think it's
exactly.
the least of the
yeah,
issues.
yeah.
Anyway, just thought. Anyway, it's been a couple of weeks. Good to be back talking to you guys around the rectangle table and the flowery thing. Maybe we'll just change this before long. I don't know. But anyhow,
Need something a little more seasonal.
yeah, that's true. Sorry, we should have saved this for spring. All right. Well, anyhow, let's go around the table here. Jake, how are you doing?
Doing all right. It's kind of a slow, boring Monday, which it's okay every once in a while. But on a Monday in particular, just felt like the day was dragging.
It was a cold day too. Interestingly enough,
Yeah,
much
we didn't
colder
have a
than
lot
it has been.
Yeah, didn't have a lot going on in the steel yard. It seems like we're plagued with sickness. Every day I've got at least one guy calling out, so we're kind of limited in what we can do. And,
Tis the season.
yeah, it really
For
is.
sure.
So hopefully we get it all out of the way now, though, and then in like January, February, and March, I don't have to worry about it. But it'll all come back around.
Well, we were feeling it a little bit Sunday too. I mean, there are some people sick all around. Yeah, that's something we should all be praying about a lot. Everybody staying healthy.
Everybody staying healthy. Yeah, we got stuff coming up.
We got stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All
right.
That was a decent enough last couple of weeks, though. And then talked with one of my neighbors as we were heading here. Stopped and chatted with him out the window of my truck for a little bit. I was like, "Oh, hold on!" And I had the flyers yesterday.
Flyers.
I grabbed one. I handed it to him. Like, bring the family. We'll see you guys there. But
That's fantastic.
yeah. So and then we got another couple neighbors we'll invite to the carriage ride and stuff too. So that'll be fun. Yeah. And then this Sunday I get to take Harper to her first Broncos game, and I am
What?
excited for that. Yeah.
Come on.
So she's been to a Rockies game.
Yeah.
And she did pretty well. We made it through. We made it like 6.5 innings at the Rockies game. That's pretty good, you know.
More than I can do.
So we're going with.
That's a different vibe, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, and we're in the lower levels. It's nice and noisy and exciting and everything. So
Wow,
we'll get her
cool.
some headphones so she doesn't,
Oh, smart.
But yeah, that's good. It's good for like kids because otherwise the noise itself can be just way too much.
Right.
So yeah, we're going with my brother-in-law and then my nephew. And he's never been to a Broncos game either, so he's 17, so he'll have a really good time.
Awesome.
Yeah, so looking forward to that coming up, and all our holiday stuff.
Holidays
To take some talk about in a bit.
We'll talk about it in a bit for sure.
I'm glad I'm here.
Glad you're here too, man. All right, across the table. Bob, how are you, sir?
Kind of the same thing. It was a slow Monday, which I was happy for, because it really needs that continued pace to recover from the last couple of years. So yeah, so it was kind of nice. It was interesting going into work today. Somebody decided they wanted to, kill a big styrofoam piece of thing in the highway and then slam their brakes right in front of me.
Oh,
so
no.
it was really close to me running into them. And then the person that was driving at 80 or 90 miles an hour behind us, goes swarming around, and it's like, oh no, this is just not a good day. Then somebody else doing the same thing on the other side. So yeah, it was really close to a very bad day.
Scary.
But it wasn't.
But
So
it was
that was good.
That's good.
That's the good news. didn't need any coffee after that either.
Right, you're let's pump in. You're very alert.
Yes. So, but yeah, just things are kind of moving along. I'll just leave it there. It's cold outside. I don't like it. Yeah. That's me. But the snow's pretty.
You are filling in for Tracy.
Yeah.
The Tracy's right. Yeah, absolutely. Or the love.
Hey, I didn't bring him up.
You said you didn't. You couldn't move to Texas though. It'd be nice and warm there, dude.
It still gets cold and gross.
I see you're rocking the London.
Yeah,
hats.
I was walking outside and then saw the snow. Walked back inside, grabbed the hat, just thinking, just thinking it wasn't going to go well for my hair. It doesn't.
But you guys, for my hair. It's stupid. I actually have to think about that too. I have no hair, but then I have some hair. And if I don't get a haircut, I'm ridiculous. I look like a crazed maniac. So like I've escaped from the asylum.
Yeah, you can't grow it out anymore.
I could do what my dad used to do because he didn't really have a comb over. He had sort of the swirl pullback thing. But I never really thought of him as bald because he had this little tuft of hair. But it was a very kind of 60s, 70s look going on there. But
There was a day when I got home after working outside and we were doing a very hot, sweaty job back then. And Joy, she pulls off my hat to kiss me on the head and goes, she saw how bald I was getting.
a gasp.
Yeah, it was such a stab.
Wow. That's intense, man.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that hurt. It hurt a lot.
That's funny.
But beyond that, how are you doing, John?
Hi, thanks for remembering, Bob. I'm coughing here. I think the reason I'm coughing right now is because you and I were a one-car couple, and so she took the car to school today. I did not have to go today, but I needed to make a deposit, and there's a bank right over here. And so I went out and braved the traffic. And by that, I mean not driving, just not getting hit. It was weird being able to cross roads and things. And some of it I had to run a little bit. And I'm still sort of fighting this exercise-induced asthma thing. And so I'm going to work out it. I'm going to get through this, hopefully, Lord willing, where that's not a thing. But by the time I got back, because I'm fine, like running, jumping over things.
Frogger.
And then when I get and stop and I come in, I start. It's like, oh, really? But it lasted less time this time than it has in times past.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yeah.
But I still have that kind of raspy kind of cough going on. Anyway, la-di-da-di-da. So yeah, I was off today, but I've been dragging a bit, just kind of. It was a good day of rest, so I needed the rest. So I didn't get a lot done today, but I just feel like I'm kind of dragging. Like this is it. This is the big thing, right? This is the thing for the day.
This is your whole day.
So good. Yeah, kind of. That's sort of. Now I did follow up with making myself a version of the omelet from Sunday. It wasn't as good.
Awesome.
It was missing something. Did you put cheese in that? You put cheese in it, right? I missed the cheese today. That's what it was. Anyway, it's still good. But fond memories thinking of yesterday's omelets. It was just a distant memory from the real thing. So anyway. So here I am. All right, well, what do you guys want to talk about? We got a lot of things we could talk about, and that is one of them. Yesterday. A lot of people were sick and missing, but yeah, dude, I hate to keep going on and on about the omelets. I'm a big egg fan anyway, but the omelets, man, they were fantastic.
Johnny's not wrong. You're missing out.
That's true. They were fantastic.
Breakfast, it's awesome.
So you had the mix of two of our finest chef cooks. You had Leona who did the prep work.
Yeah.
So we had like little cut up things of bacon, some sausage. There was mushrooms, there was onions, there was peppers. All
There
kinds
was
of stuff.
peppers, spinach, mushrooms, tomatoes,
Tomatoes. I had
bacon, sausage, the whole deal.
It was amazing. And then
The whole garden there.
your skill at the thing.
Well, I felt really bad because the The pan is not the pan I'm used to. And, you know, just not that there's anything weird about it. It's just not
Brought
mine,
your own
right?
pan, man.
I thought about it. I brought my own spatula. Well, it's funny. I don't know if you guys noticed, like, because of the size of the pan and with flipping it and stuff was kind of hard. So, like, a lot of the omelets I ended up splitting in half so I could flip it nicer and served it up that way. They taste the same, right? And the presentation's not as good, but I cooked my omelet last, and it was the only omelet I could do. Like I got right for some reason.
Oh, okay.
I felt kind of bad. I'm serving up the best looking one for myself.
It took all that time to get there.
I should have cut it in half anyway, just to.
Well, you know, I just like that you threw in that kind of. I brought my own spatula. Well, you should have a holster for your spatula.
Have my tool belt. I do have a grilling apron that like has different like tool slots and has like a retractable bottle opener that snaps back to my hip and has a coaster like pocket in there you can put.
Oh man,
it's pretty cool.
Well, it is such an important part. This whole having breakfast brunch together. It's been. I just think it's been a nice balm of wonderfulness. During our weird stuff that's been going on for months now. So it's like a really nice fellowship time, and I really like it.
I do too. Back when we started this, I told you we needed bacon. That was what was missing. and every Sunday since there has been bacon, and it's been awesome.
There will be bacon. Oh, speaking of bacon, I could not believe that. I really wanted the candied bacon that you made. With a little bit of heat, and a little bit of sweet, and a little bit of whatever in there. And honestly, I got the. Thank you, by the way, for fixing up my omelet early. So I had actually a hot one and a cold one at the end. And I think I was just so focused on that omelet. I forgot about the bacon. And I didn't see it. It wasn't right in my eyesight. Or line of sight, rather. And so I just missed it until I thought about it. I was like, so I didn't get it till the break. That was awesome too.
Good job. Not to call Michael out on this or anything.
Oh,
it was funny. No, it was just we mentioned the candy bacon to you, and it was like during music, so you weren't able to get any until the break, right? And then I think it was maybe the middle of like the second song. I look over and Michael was just like he's just like keeps grabbing more, right? And I was thinking to myself like, oh no, I hope there's gonna be something up for Johnny. And at one point, Michael looks at me and he goes, "This is really good, man."
Well, you could have gone over and just kind of pulled a little aside.
Full right,
I did get some though, so that was good, and it was delicious. Good. Just delicious. I can't remember what all you have in there.
It's super easy. You take a baking sheet, lay the bacon flat, sprinkle a little brown sugar and a little cayenne, and just bake it at like say 400 for 16 to 20 minutes, depending on how thick your bacon is. It smokes up the house though, because the brown sugar, the caramel starts to like burn almost. True, yeah. So the bacon's really good, but the drippings start to burn and it gets very smoky.
You remember when our podcast used to be a garden podcast, and now it's a food podcast? Just talking about food.
Depends on the season.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, let's start
the seasonings. One of the
seasonings. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. You find us somewhere in the world. I think I forgot to say that. I think the last time, but anyway. All right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about in the time that we have tonight?
Well,
or should we start? Maybe that's what I should say. We do have a couple things we need to hit.
Yeah. Let's start with Merry and Bright.
Yes.
Very merry. I have a very merry cup on it here.
If you watched this, nice. The last time we talked about this, we hadn't landed on a name. Jay came up with a name. We landed on it.
We have landed on the name. Here it is. Boom. The Merry and Bright Christmas event. And it's going to be awesome.
Please.
On December 21st. It's the first time we've ever done this. I'm sure we're going to have a ton of things fall apart and a ton of things be awesome. That's always the way our first event goes, but it's going to be great regardless. You want to be a part of the first possible annual. We'll see how it goes. I hope it's annual. That would be great. Speaking of, there are everybody I've told about this event seems excited about it. Yeah. So even Michael's boss said when he was talking to him about it, he said, "Well, I'll tell you what. Let me. Can you give me a few flyers
Oh, nice.
It was funny because Michael called me from work and said, hey, would you mind printing out a few for me? Hey, don't worry about it. I got 125 of them sitting on the table. But anyway, it was so weird. But anyway, so he took those around, but he was looking at it and going, oh, wow, I wish this wasn't in the middle of this is like they have a big work day there.
Oh,
Michael's taking off. It's a huge day for them too, that close to Christmas.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
He said, oh, this might have been a good kind of team building thing we could have done together. Da, 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 da. But, yeah, a lot of positive vibes. Now, do the positive vibes translate into people being there? I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. I hope they're not there all at once. But
I think the people like doing Christmassy stuff around Christmas. You know, like I was looking at things to do with Clinton Harper too, and this is going to be a big one. It's free too. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Not to name any names. Not going to do that. There have been some things that I've looked at that are. It's crazy how much they're charging for these things for Christmas time stuff.
And I know that he's in the public domain, but it just seems like everybody has Santa. Santa, you can get a picture with Santa. Everybody thinks Santa's going to be here.
Santa will not be there
Santa
at
will
the
not be
Merry
there.
and Bright Christmas
He's not
event.
gonna be. No Santa this time around. I mean, I'll be okay if it was, but I just think it's just too many Santas everywhere. Nothing too novel about that.
Right.
However, we are going to have this. This is new. Jake, you don't know about this.
I know about it.
What I like saying on the podcast is I like to say, Jake, you don't know about this.
Yeah, I get surprised. I find out
And then who knows if you'll like it or not like it. So you'll notice this if you leave my neighborhood by going over here to the stop sign and turning right
Okay.
instead of left and down. Turn right and go around to the road where it takes you off to see that road over there.
Yeah, that road.
By the school over there. Over there.
Oh, yeah.
And then hang a left to go
Yeah.
all the way. But if you go out that way, there is a house. This is where I got the idea. I can show them. I forgot. And it is in their front yard. And we were out for a little walk and stumbled across this and went, maybe we should have a little something like that for the Merry and Bright Christmas Eve. And what I'm showing you here is a picture. Maybe I'll put it here. Maybe. Anyway, it's a giant inflatable horse. It's like 9 feet. I mean, it's like this. So not too pricey. Where we were talking before about like photo ops and whatever, and good inflatables and nothing. So when I saw that, I thought, this will be perfect. So we're gonna have 2.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and then hopefully another thing to complete it. Depends on what happens tonight. But to show that there's really an event going on. We were talking about one of the details to the Merry and Bright Christmas event is it's during the day.
Yeah.
And like with our Halloween thing, there are lights, and you kind of walk up on it and say, "Whoa, okay." This had that feeling. I think the way I described it to Bob, it's like if you're going to a garage sale and you see a bunch of signs that say "garage sale, come see." Then you get there and it's just like people's clothes on the driveway. It's kind of like anticlimactic looking. And I realized that our event needed something you drive up on and go, "Oh, something's happening." So we'll have our canopies, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll have the flags and canopies set up and everything, because I'll take care of that morning too.
Oh, so sweet. But we'll also have those inflatables too.
Right,
so
that's
that should be
great.
fun. Cool. And maybe it'll be a photo op. Maybe that will be just something that makes you go.
There's going to be
whoa, okay.
Yeah. People are going to want pictures with the horse. Where the horse is. I guess.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get him to be able to.
I was going to say, are the horses okay with being like around people like this, or
there probably needs to be like a hashtag Merry Bright or something. I don't know, but they can use just social media even on. I hope so. I hope people are taking pictures just the whole time without making formal stops for the actual horses. Because the only reason I say that is because if there are a lot of people,
there's not going to be a lot of time.
there's not going to be a lot of time. You gotta unload. I mean, the ride itself will be a good ride,
right?
And so it's not like we're going to a parking lot and back or something. So in order to do it that way, it could. Yeah, we just need to get people on and off quickly, as quick as possible, safely, and all that. You guys will notice too, off camera here, this long box. Jake, would you mind just kind of reaching in and grabbing one of those? It might bite, it might not. another thing that was a grand idea, and I'm glad we're doing it. Yeah. Just pull out. They're not connected.
I want to break them.
Yeah, I'm not breaking. There we go.
Oh, those are good size steers.
Okay, no. Marshmallow. A little bit of distance. These are skewers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what that's for. So we got a bunch of those. Feel free to help. So those just came in. But here's the other thing. We're having a s'more pit, right? Open flame, general public, children,
Safety officer.
safety. But aside from that, and we do this on Christmas Eve too, so this is fine to have all these. But yeah, so it's like, how many marshmallows do we? How many? Oh no! So we're gonna have enough for a good crowd. We know we can use them again Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
and if we, Lord willing, we ran out. Fantastic,
Awesome.
man. We'll run. We'll close it down for 30 minutes. Run to the store and go get some more. I hope. Anyway. So, yeah. So it's all kind of coming together. I haven't checked the list to see if anyone is filling in our volunteer roles. By the way, we need anybody and everybody who's willing to come and help us with this event. You don't have to be a member of our church. We
just need your help.
we'll vet you a little bit, but not,
I was looking at it last night. I didn't see a safety officer position.
Because
I figured like
I thought it did. It's the s'more pit, and it says 2 rolls.
Oh, okay.
So on the left,
the s'more pit. I'll have to.
Yeah.
S'more pit.
Well,
I was going to say, like, if I'm, I could do 2 things. I could keep the clipboard of who's up next on the carriage and also watch the fire. That's pretty easy.
If they're close
manage.
to each
If they're
other.
close to each other, I suppose we don't know what the layout's going to be.
Yeah.
Yep, and we were going to talk a little bit about that layout. I don't think we're going to do it on the podcast, but before we go, I'd like to talk to that a little bit because I'm trying to tighten up the space a little bit. And so it's either going to be, we have to make it so that the horses, so those guys with the carriage can turn around because they're going to be going out this way, they're going to be coming back this way, but they got to turn back around to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might be easier to have them come into the parking lot. Well, then we thought, wait a minute, where are people parking?
Right.
So we don't want them running into cars or something,
Yeah.
and that'd be no problem. So a few logistical things that we got to kind of work out. So if it's over by the parking lot, we may move everything over to the parking lot, onto the grass if it's not snow. Otherwise, we may make the corridor that goes straight to the school, that big sidewalk,
Yeah.
and almost make a little Christmas village there with
Gotcha.
canopies and
Yeah.
stuff. So you actually come in and you go around each thing, and then ride the carriage rides.
Very cool.
It's a come and go event. So anyway, we'll see. We'll have music playing. Michael told me. Here's the thing with Michael with the music playlist. Most nobody does. He buys all these songs himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just like he doesn't have to. I mean, we certainly could invest in that. We need to. But he's got like 5.5 hours of Christmas.
Oh, awesome.
So we should be fine.
Yeah.
There's one song, can't remember which one it is, but he's got it's the same song, but 5 different artists doing the same one.
Yes, that's true. Now, here's hoping that we have power and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't have a word on that fully yet because I wasn't at the school.
Mm-hmm.
If you watched any of the service on Sunday and you hung around to the end, you heard me talking about that. There's a slim chance we may not have access to the inside of the building for this event. If so, we do have a workaround. We have a very nice generator. Should be more than enough to do what we need.
Oh,
We're not
yeah.
even running lights or anything.
Yeah,
We'll need it
just
for
popcorn and
popcorn and the speaker
inflatables.
and the inflatables.
Yeah.
So we should be okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll be fine.
It's just loud is the thing.
Right.
But that's what cables are made for. That's what- so we can do it. I just would prefer that we didn't. And also the bathrooms are more of an issue because it's a longer event. We're going to be there for a long time. All right. Anything else about this event you guys want to talk about?
Then right after that, we've got service. Hopefully they're at the school. If not, here. And then we've got our Christmas Eve service.
Christmas
Right.
Eve.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? It's only a couple of weeks away.
I know.
How is it already time for Christmas, man? I mean,
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're through the first week of December. What's today, the 8th?
Yeah, today's the 8th. Yeah.
Oh,
no, 9th.
Ninth.
Today's the 9th.
Today is the 9th.
Wait, is that right?
Yeah.
Today is the 9th.
Monday the 9th.
Friday's the 13th.
Oh, today is Monday, isn't it? Okay, I'm with you. I've lost track of the world. Okay. Yep. Good grief. And so this event is literally 2 weeks from now. Not even a full 2 weeks.
even.
Oh, my soul. This podcast is over. We got a lot to do. Shall we go right again?
After it.
All right. Well, so I hope it's just a great thing. If nothing else, I hope that we all have a grand time together. And we got to figure out a way.
At a minimum, we're getting a lot of s'mores and a carriage ride out of it.
Yeah, so we got to figure out a way to make sure that everybody on our team gets. Maybe before we start, maybe it'll be the first one. I don't know, but maybe it'll be the last one. So I don't know, but we're hopefully all going to get.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very fun time.
Yeah.
Forward to.
Jingle all the way.
blast.
Yeah.
Bells on Bob's tail. Making spirits bright? I don't know. Well,
I've got a Santa hat. That's as far as it goes. Or a Grinch hat. Your choice.
well, all right. Well, anyhow, yeah, that's coming up, and Christmas Eve is coming up, and it'll look very similar except smaller scale.
Yeah.
We'll gather around the fire. We're going to sing Christmas carols. I like our Christmas Eve thing. It's really simple and lasts about 30, 40 minutes. It's not
fun.
It's very Colorado-y, I think, and very, very Christmassy.
Ironically, hardly anybody does it.
I know, right? Because I think it's because they're kind of like you. You're a Colorado native, and you're yapping about the cold.
There are things that I will put up with in the cold. This is one of them.
That's pretty cool.
It is really good, yeah. And even Glow and Go, you don't hear me complaining about the cold on that.
No, that's true.
That said, we've had some really amazing nights with it too, so where it doesn't get too cold. But yeah, no,
that's true.
I will endure. For the good things.
Excellent. Very good. Well, so anyway, to wrap up that Merry and Bright Christmas event stuff, there will be wagon, carriage, horse-drawn rides. There will be popcorn. Speaking of, there are two big boxes that have arrived right there. There will be hot chocolate. What else? Cookies. The s'more pit. And we'll manage that. I've got some, what do you call these, staunches?
Stanchions.
What do I call it? Stanch?
Stanchion, yeah.
That's a word I do not say very often.
Yeah.
But we have the kind that have the belts.
So nice.
So we're going to make a... Because, by the way, when I got these, I thought, we're going to use these for all kinds of stuff. This is, I don't know why I didn't get these long before now. So we're going to kind of rope off that area and only allow into that pit, so it's more manageable into the pit. And into the pit, children.
You have a pendulum with it too.
No, we're going to let in only a certain number at a time.
Yeah.
And let them do that, and then they move on and bring in some more. And that'll also help, I think, make providing the supplies for that easier as well.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
But yeah, and maybe some cookie decorating on another little spot too. And I just think it'll be fun. We got to do a little decorating, I think, too, to kind of dress it up in Christmas.
I guess at least garland. The lights won't work, but we can do some garland or something.
Yeah, something like that. And I was thinking the trees that we usually use, but they,
I don't think they got it.
It's not going to be bright anyway.
Yeah, you won't be able to see them during the day.
Yeah, so anything we can do to make it a simple setup, but an impressive one, like the inflatables, that has a big effect and doesn't take a lot of work. Tear down doesn't take a lot with that. The more like that we can do, the better. So, well, all right.
Okay.
Cool.
Endurance goes in really well if you're serving a couple. Was it
endurance?
Yes. There's persecution. Wrapping up the.
Well,
yeah, weird segue.
No, this is not persecution.
No. I just with the last beatitude of the it was a weird segue. It didn't work.
Enduring difficulties is one thing, but persecution is a different. That's outsiders doing things. All right. Well, what else you guys want to talk about tonight?
Yesterday's message.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
We're out of the Beatitudes.
Yep.
We got the verse here, just to condense it down.
Hey, condense it down.
Well, 'cause
it was one verse.
Well, but we did start with verses 1 through 12.
Well, that's true.
And now this
That's
is
just
verse 13.
You're right. You're right.
You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt should lose its taste, how can it be made salty? It is no longer good for anything but to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. That verse has confused me for a long time, so I was very glad for yesterday's message.
Oh,
it's
good.
like it provided some extra
Wait,
explanation.
Wait.
Yes.
Speaking of
We have
salt,
sugar instead of
come
on
in. Come in. Does this mean it's time for the cookie break? Yay! Cookie break time.
Cookie.
Oh my gosh!
Thank you, sweetheart. What kind
Thanks
of
so much. What do
kind
we
of
have
cookies?
tonight?
What are they?
Oh, she zipped her lip again.
Why are you zipping your lip? You've been on nothing but talking.
Hey, Leona.
Yes.
These are good, but they still are different from the ones that we used to get, right? What happened?
I don't know.
No, they smell and look wonderful. So what are you calling these?
What are the?
Chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip what?
Cookies.
Just chocolate chip cookies? Are they
Pie.
pudding like?
Yeah, they're
Thank you.
chocolate
Thank
chip
you.
pudding.
All right, help yourself out.
Okay.
Chocolate
Grab that
chip
big one here.
pudding cookies.
Very excited.
And
And they're super yummy. I've been...
you been chomping them?
No, not the cookie, but the batter.
Well, let's see.
It's all about the dough.
I know that there's going to be one that we're not a big fan of, perhaps. Yeah. Cookie break time, man. All right, there it is. I shall give it a taste.
Good.
Not this one though. This is good.
This is good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Chocolatey. Now's the time during the podcast where I invite you to gather around your computer screen, gather your family, pull up a warm chair and a little blanket, and enjoy a warm cookie.
Big glass
It's like
of
the
milk.
40s on the radio. Big glass of milk. Dad, I sure enjoy watching the podcast. Well, son, it's our family night. We have our cookie.
Very good.
Well, that is a good cookie.
It is a good cookie.
Chewy.
But
Chocolatey.
to kind of go into one of your sermon points, illustrations, is that the salt has to be in the right place at the right time. and there's a little bit of salt in here to pop the sweet.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Pop the sweet.
Yeah, that verse. I can't be the only one that was confused by this. The whole it'll be cast out and trampled on the ground portion. It actually makes a lot of
Like throwing
sense.
salt out.
Well, yeah, but it makes sense with their understanding of the chemistry back then. At least the regular person, they would think that pile that you're referring to. If it looks like salt, it's probably still salt, but it doesn't taste like it. So they go, it's bad salt. They throw it out. But I didn't know they would use it on paths and stuff, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the trampling on.
Right, and so it explains why he says it'll be cast out and trampled on.
Yeah, now I would
use it
say.
for-
Now, see, I would say this too. Not to interrupt your thought there, but to join in with it, Jake.
Yeah.
That even if that were not the case, there is still an understanding of the expression, which I didn't really go into because I felt like that was enough. But if I said, "This is no longer any good," it's only worth throwing out for people to walk on. I'm basically saying it's become worthless.
Right.
Even if you would never take that thing in real life and throw it under someone's foot, the expression still makes sense. But it is interesting that it actually really made sense to them.
Well, the previous line about salt losing its saltiness or its
yeah.
taste or whatever translate, it's that was really confusing initially. So you go, salt can't lose its taste, and which you touched on, because it's always going to be sodium chloride. It's always going to be that, So salt itself can't lose its saltiness.
Exactly. And that's an interesting thing, too, because I tried to say this. I went back because I was listening to the message to I'm not sure if I made this clear, and I always do this on Mondays. It's the day after, looking back on I wish I'd said this differently
It's
or whatever.
like watching the game tape.
Yeah. That's what we're doing right now. Is that I tried to communicate when Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth," and I just said, "Don't go do salty things." He wasn't just saying, "Now, to be my representative, you need to be someone who does things that are like salt out in the." Instead, he was saying, "No, you are it. Mm-hmm. You are the flavor left in this world because you're with me. And if you don't do it, it's not getting done." Right. So it's like you're the flavor. So are you in the shaker, or have you lost your saltiness, either by not being engaging with people, or because you've blended in so much there is no flavor, there's nothing distinctive about you.
That's what I was thinking. The only way you lose the saltiness in that situation is if it's washed out. You know,
overwhelmed by a different flavor or something.
Exactly. Otherwise, because like that salt that might not be necessarily dissolvable. Whereas like regular table salts, sodium chloride, just like washes out once you start adding too much stuff into it. Not to belabor a point or anything, but
right.
It's that same thing. When we let too much of the world or whatever into our lives, we can easily let our salt get washed right out.
Well, anyhow, it's like when I say if you're a follower of Jesus, you are a witness. Mm-hmm. You're either a good one or a bad one, but you are one, right? So, and again, you got to understand too. At this point, Jesus didn't say, "All right, everybody, get your goggles. We're about to do this little sciencey experiment.
Right?
Let's talk about some science." I'm the one. By the way, I'm the one that came up with the idea of salt. Right? You know what I mean? I know what it is. He could have done that, but that's not the point of what he was trying to say. Too. Much like he would look at something. I would think often he would. He's standing, he would see something, he might point over to it. And in fact, in the next phrase that we'll talk about next week, I'm pretty sure he does do that a little bit with the city on the hill part. But anyhow, and he'll see that, and everybody immediately sees the word pictures he's talking about as he's saying it. And it's like this. It's like that. So when he's saying this about salt, he's like, first, let me just define what salt is all about. It wasn't that. It was the whole idea. Because it's like, he could have said too, let's just say he was talking, if he said sodium chloride, and he said, "You're the sodium chloride of the earth." But if sodium chloride lost its sodium chloride-ness, what would it be good for? So now you've created a hypothetical that's not even possible in reality, which is also sort of the point, right? So... Yeah, but I wondered. I know we were only in one verse. That's why I said at the end, it's going to take us 10 years to get through the sermon. But it gives us a chance to kind of to chew on and dig in and really understand as much as possible what some of that means. But I was thinking, we're just doing salt. I originally intended to do that 13 and 14 together because most people, they kind of do salt and light. So, salt and light. But I just thought, there's a lot here with the salt thing. So, I thought I went long, but I looked at the length, and I actually spoke longer last week. It just felt long.
I do love the...
It's because you were longing for the candied...
Yeah. I had it during the break. That's when I got the bacon. It fired me up. It was all salted up.
I was just going to say, I do love the order in which God has created things in the world that we live in, because if you look at sodium chloride, sodium is a metal that catches fire when exposed to water or when cutting it or anything. Chlorine is a poisonous gas. But if you put the two together, sodium chloride is something so essential, our bodies can't even function without it. Like our brain sends electrical signals through our bodies and our nervous system because of salt that we have in our system. It's impossible. Electricity doesn't work without electrolytes, which is sodium chloride is an electrolyte. You have to have a way to transmit the electricity through the molecules. If you have zero salts in your system, one, you'll die. But two, you can't. Your muscles won't function. Your brain doesn't function anymore. Nothing happens without salt. That's like on a cellular level how important it is to us.
That's so true.
There's a word for that: hypernatremia. It's when you drink too much water.
Then you get your salt levels get depleted. Right. People that experience that, they will just collapse. Their muscles just stop working. They can't walk. They can't move.
You got to have water, and you have to have salt.
Well, but then water too. Hydrogen's explosive. Oxygen feeds flames. You put them together. You have
Nice science lesson going on there.
Science talk. I like it when you go off into these kind of little extras and add to it, because I never know what the final thing is going to be. Because I remember that time we were talking about sheep, and you had all this stuff about sheep, and I turned and asked you, "Wow, I didn't know you knew so much about sheep. Did you have sheep?" No, I saw it in a movie.
I did take quite a few chemistry courses over my education, so that's different.
Hey, you can fact check if you want. Fact check Jake. And now it's time for that moment when we fact check Jake. We just trust you, man.
All the
That's believe
stuff
what you're
that's wrong.
saying.
Just lie.
Buy your vote. Is he telling the truth or not?
We're at
that's
40 minutes right now, so.
Okay. Well, I love that. I'm teasing you on a light level because I love it when you add that stuff. So that's kind of cool.
But it's such a good point, though, that God created this world that should be so toxic to us to be such a life-giving thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And being in it and not of it. And that was the bit at the end of that that's so important, because we're to be in the world. Okay? You have to. Salt is no good if it doesn't season, or it doesn't preserve, or it doesn't do whatever it's supposed to do. It's got to come into contact with what it needs.
Sitting in a shaker's not all that handy.
Right.
And I try not to be too harsh about that at the end, because I know that churches. Every now and then I'll say things. I go back and I'm like, "Oh, was that too hard on churches?" Because I love church.
Calling them salt shakers, I think it's. I think it's okay.
You sorry salt shaker church. Shelf-sitting salt shaker church. Well, that was hard to say. Is that the title? That's the title for this one? Oh my gosh. Anyway. Salt shaker stuff. Oh, I gotta be careful what I say. Anyway. So. It's too much of a tongue twister. All right, so anyhow, I hate to be hard on churches, is what I'm saying, and yet I also want to be hard on churches because it's the truth, and we are the light. We'll talk about that next time. I'm getting ahead of myself, but we have to understand too. You just followed that about. He's describing what does it mean? What does it look like if you're following me? And you can't follow him and not be a part of what he's doing. Right. He's the salt, right? He provides the salt. We're only the salt of the earth because of him in our lives. So, anyway, it's when we mess it up and we begin to ruin that, and we lose our saltiness. I really believe that is where much of Christianity in the United States is right now. We have lost our impact because we're not quite doing it right, you know. Again, it's kind of a hard thing when you say, I mean, who am I, right? But I just think it's kind of true. I mean, when we stop engaging with the culture and engaging with people and doing so in a loving way, and that's why I said I was so confused when I was a kid about loving the world or don't love the world. Well, which is it, right? I didn't understand what you were talking about. But it's pretty clear. I mean, even in the 1 John passage I read on Sunday, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. And then he says, for all that's in the world, the lust of the eyes, the lust. Well, he begins to describe what he's talking about loving the world. And then we have John 3:16, and he's in other places, and even in 1 John, the same book, where he's saying, don't love the world, right? to love one another, love people. So we love the people of the world, just not the value system of this world. So anyhow, all of the above. If you're not in the world, you lose your saltiness. If you're in the world but you're becoming too much like that world, you lose your saltiness. Right? There's the balance, the poison.
There's a crazy irony.
Come full circle.
But just one bit of defense on where you're coming from with the churches. Paul is very clear that we're supposed to provoke each other to good works.
Well, yeah.
Provoke is a pretty strong word.
Paul used a lot of strong words.
He did.
Well, I'm okay with it. I mean, I love the church. I never want to give the impression that Compass Church And as the spokesperson for our church, that we think every other church is wrong.
Oh,
you know what I
right.
mean? That's too arrogant and stupid. So I would never say that. I believe God's at work at every church, even if they're doing it differently than us. If their style is different or whatever. I love the church. It's flawed and messed up and all of that. Oh. Let's find out. We're going to pause real fast to find out what's going on.
Okay.
Whoa, that was weird. My son fell down the stairs, slipped, and hurt himself. Okay.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I don't know what we were talking about at that point, but probably a good chance to begin to wrap things up here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you mentioned John 3:16, but we hadn't said John 3:16.
What is John 3:16?
For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, good stuff, man. I mean, that's I think the last thing we were talking about was the world, love the world, but not me in the world.
Right.
Okay. Well, anything else before we wrap up tonight? It's kind of a weird.
I do have one quick thing for you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've not given these out to you, either of you. But I have
Dun, dun,
a
dun.
little Christmas gift for both of you.
What is that?
Oh, nice.
Dude,
Yeah.
that is awesome.
Thank you
Oh,
so
my
Nativity
God.
scene. Yeah. So we
thanks
created
for
this
that.
file at work a few years ago. One of my guys,
That's awesome.
his mom collects different nativity scenes and stuff. And we wanted to make her one out of steel, so him and I spent some time finding these. And so I have one on my wall at home. Tracy and Kathy have one as well. I gifted them one a couple years ago, and so yeah, the other side's the more clean
right,
side.
there it
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
you can hang on the wall doing a paint something. But
This
yeah, I
is
thought
fantastic.
maybe you
Man.
guys
Thank
might
you
like
for
it.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
what a
it.
happy ending that is. That's
Yeah.
excellent.
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely, no problem.
Very kind and wonderful.
Nice little reminder of why we're all here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, on that fantastic, happy ending, we're going to shut this thing down. All right, so before we hit our final words, I want to say we meet somewhere in the world every single week. Usually we are at Arkansas Elementary School. Here lately, we've been doing the brunch thing at my house. But we meet somewhere every week together in worship, and you are always invited to be our guest. We meet at 10 o'clock. And you can join us online on Facebook. That's Compass Church Colorado. And you can discover more at compassdenver.com. We'd love to have you as our guest this Sunday. All right, final words.
Love you guys. Thanks so much, and love you guys out there too.
This has been great because he is great.
Grace to you and peace. That's all we have for tonight. And we are out. And yeah, man, thanks for this.
Yeah.
This is so cool, dude.
Yeah, glad you like it.
Yeah, for sure we do.